Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining before a long holiday weekend. Hopefully you all have some good plans to enjoy this weekend. My name is Marnie Holder. I am the Director of Career Summits for Hiring Our Heroes, and we're glad to have you with us today for Employer Connection Thursday, Industry Thursday. Before we get started, before I introduce our presenter today, I did just want to go through a couple housekeeping and admin reminders. So if you do have a question for our presenter, down in the bottom of your screen, you will see the Q&A feature. I know it's tempting to put something in the chat feature, but in the Q&A feature is where you put your question that will then be transferred to the presenter to answer it live. This session is also being recorded. So if you don't get a chance to view it in its entirety today, you'll get an opportunity to go to our website, our virtual career hub, and you can see not only this recording, but all of our other sessions that we've been hosting over the last few months, and certainly those that are upcoming. I did want to flag, and I'll flag it at the end as well. We do have an upcoming virtual career fair. It is hosted by Student Veterans of America, and it's going to be happening next week on the 9th of September. So if you're looking for more information about that event, or if you'd like to register, you can go to our website and look under the events page and you can register for that event. We also have some other upcoming industry virtual career fairs over the next few months, and you can see the list of all of those events on our registration page. All right, so without further ado, I want to turn it over to our awesome partner today, Raytheon Technologies, and Alex Noguera, who is going to run you through careers at Raytheon, all of the vast opportunities that they have available, and really what they're doing as far as leaders in hiring military service members, veterans, and spouses. So Alex is the Talent Acquisition Military Liaison for Raytheon, and he is also a service member himself. And I will turn it over to Alex, if you can introduce yourself and get us started.
All right, thank you so much, Marnie. Hi, everybody. I hope everybody can hear me well. My name is Alex, just like Marnie stated. I am the military liaison for Raytheon Missiles and Defense Talent Acquisition. So a little bit about myself. I've been in the Navy now going on 10 years. I am a CB, so any CBs out there, you know, shout out. But I have the great opportunity to work for a great company like Raytheon Technologies. And my job here is to be as the military liaison is to help veterans and military spouses who are looking for opportunities in our company to come on board. And to understand our process and kind of guide and coach and mentor through the process itself. There's a lot of, you know, as many people have tried and applied, right? There's so many stories of I got lost in the weeds of everything, you know, applying to Raytheon. Well, my job is to help you get through those weeds and be a conduit for the veterans or military spouses and the recruiters and the hiring managers. So I'm like a direct line, if you want to put it in that sense, to help as any way I can. So a little bit about me. I'm going to jump into this presentation real quick, so then we can leave it open for questions. If there's any questions, please feel free to ask. So next slide, please. Thank you. So as you can tell, right, this is the starting slide, Raytheon Missile and Defense. That's what we're going to talk about right now. Next slide. So right here's our mission statement, right? So we're an aerospace and defense company, right? It provides advanced systems and services for commercial, military, and government customers worldwide. So we are a large company. You know, there's many folks who have heard of Raytheon, and then there's others that have not. But we have locations pretty much everywhere, and we'll cover that in the next few slides. Next slide, please. So as you can tell, this is just a little bit of information just by our numbers, right? So in combined as Raytheon Technologies, we have 195,000 employees, about $8 billion annual company and customer funded research and development programs. You know, so there's so much that we have, 60,000 engineers, 40,000 patents. So this is just a little brief overview of what we are. Next slide, please. Okay, so these right here are sister businesses, organizations that we are. Raytheon Technologies came about when Raytheon and United Technologies merged earlier this year, and we became one solid company. So As you can tell, we have Collins Aerospace, Pratt & Whitney, Raytheon Intelligence and Space, and Raytheon Missiles and Defense. So we are spread out very, very far among the nation and around the world. Next slide. So these are some of the things that we deal with as Raytheon Technologies: actuation, propeller and landing systems, aerostructures, avionics, cybersecurity, right? That's a big field that continues to grow, and there's a large demand for folks with those type of experiences and certifications. Data analytics, systems integration, sensors, missiles defense, of course, precision weapons. So we are a defense contractor, right? So, you know, we make sure that we support the warfighter and make sure that they're equipped and ready to handle anything that comes our way to defend our country. Next slide, please. So our vision, right? Safer, more connected world. Trust, respect, accountability, collaboration, innovation. Sounds a lot like a lot of the military stuff to me, right? It's very similar. There has to be a high level of integrity with what we do, being a defense contractor, right? And in the industry that we are, we have to make sure that we do our job and do our job right? That's why Raytheon loves to employ veterans and military spouses. Why? Because they're dependable, they're hardworking individuals, and they pay attention to detail, right? That's a huge thing that they look for. And of course, being a veteran myself, they always look for the amount of experience you have, right? The diverse experience that you have coming from the military sector. So this is just a little bit of our values and what we do. Next slide, please. So social impact, right? So it is our responsibility, right? We have a responsibility to change the world for the better, right? As technology advances and we continue to move forward in technology, right? Raytheon Technologies continues to evolve and continues to bring in and value those folks who put in those ideas, right? To try and innovate and move things forward in a better direction, right? So for example, inspiring the innovators of tomorrow. Right. One of the things that we do is we support educational initiatives that inspire the next generation of scientists, engineers, or business professionals. So Raytheon's huge when it comes to STEM projects, STEM programs, reaching out to educational, institutions to try and promote that. Of course, investing and serving our communities. Now, we are very involved in our local communities. Raytheon has what we call the employee resource groups, and we have a lot of them. I am part of one that is called RayVets. It's a employee resource group for veterans, by veterans, but it's not just only for veterans, right? We encourage anyone who supports military spouses can join, of course, and be a part of that group and feel like one family. Because one of the things that, coming out of the military, when I came off of active duty, it was kind of intimidating for those of you who have been active duty to understand, okay, well, now my community is no longer there. Now I got to build it somewhere else. Well, Raytheon has that for us as veterans. And so due to that fact, we involve ourselves in our local areas, to do community service projects, volunteer events, things of that nature. Next slide, please. So diversity and inclusion, right? Raytheon is a very diverse company, and we embrace that. So there's so many different ways to get involved and be a part of it. And just like it says right there, we leverage those unique voices to generate solutions towards a united and singular purpose. Raytheon is a massive supporter of diversity and inclusion, and I suggest anyone who can try and get on board to get on board. Next slide, please. So Raytheon Missiles and Defense, right? That's the side that I'm on, that I support the most. So as you can tell right there, $16 billion in annual sales and 30,000 employees. Our headquarters is in Tucson, Arizona. And in our headquarters alone, there's 15,000 employees. So as you can imagine, it's a very big plant. Next slide, please. So here's a little bit more about a little bit of our statistics, right? So it states, right, Raytheon Missile and Defense brings customers the industry's most advanced end-to-end solutions. So as you can tell, we're in 30 different states, 28 different countries, 30,000 employees, $16 billion in annual revenue. And as like I stated, the global headquarters is in Tucson, Arizona. Next slide, please. So this is just a map. You know, I kind of want to stay right here for a little bit. For those of us that are spread out pretty far across the nation, I want everyone to understand, right, that there's opportunities everywhere. This is just our locations for Raytheon Missiles and Defense, right? This doesn't include our sister organization, Raytheon Intelligence and Space. So imagine how much more reach we're going to have based off of that. So as you can tell, you know, there's many, many different opportunities. There's even overseas opportunities. I know a lot of people try to go overseas and look for those opportunities. Well, we have them. So there's no shortage of opportunities with our company. Next slide. So this is a little bit of some of the things that we do. You know, air warfare, counter, hypersonics, naval warfare, missile defense, land warfare. So like I said before, and I stated, right, we're here to support the warfighter, right? So, and make sure that they can do their job effectively and efficiently out there. So of course with that, right, the work's never gonna stop. So that's something that, you know, we take pride in, making sure that our country is safe and that, you know, we're supporting our veterans out there. Next slide, please. So these slides that are coming up is just a little bit about, you know, what each individual area is about. So as you can see, right, air warfare, fighter pilots, right? They require systems that allow them to dominate the airspace and complete direct attack. So we are the ones that build a lot of this technology that goes into these fighter jets. As you can imagine, of course, everyone thinks, oh, well, I have to be an engineer, you know, to be in Raytheon. And, you know, so, you know, I have to make sure that I have a master's degree in some sort of STEM program. Well, you do not, okay? There's a lot of different opportunities to come on board, even without a degree. So that is something that I want to try and help everyone understand and learn, that you don't need to have a degree to come on board. You can come on board without it. You know, as long as you meet the minimum requirements of a position that we have, you know, we can definitely look into how we can help you. Next slide, please. It's the same thing right here. We build all this. We actually have a, for everyone's information, we actually have a department that does our drones. It's a small department, but actually it's a really incredible to see the work at hand and to see it start from just a lot of parts put, you know, that aren't put together to the final product, and, you know, the drones out there flying and doing what they got to do, you know, and seeing it in action. But we also do a lot of this technology, of course. Next, hypersonics. You know, so hypersonic weapons are one of the most prolific emerging threats, right? So this is something we also do. Now this is, like I said, once again, these are just some of the things that we, you know, going in depth into what we do. And it's just for everyone to see how you can get involved, what some of the things we do. We've done so many projects like this. Can you hit the next slide, please? As you can tell, you know, there's so many things that we've done. You know, strategic, tactical, technological. We make sure that every aspect is detailed and engineered to precision in order to make sure that the warfighter can do their job. And same thing right here, you know, just making sure that we have the best missile defense in the world. You know, that's one of the things. So, and of course, naval warfare. You know, I'm Navy, so I'm partial to the Navy. You know, and we actually, you know, have continued to get more and more work from the Navy as they continue to progress forward in their technology as well. Next slide, please. So as I said before, right, our spirit of service, inspiring the next generation, right, supporting military families and veterans, providing a positive engagement experience for employees. So this is right here close and near and dear to my heart, right, being the military liaison for Raytheon Missiles and Defense, supporting military families and veterans, right? This is key, okay? Raytheon really does make us feel as a family. Like I stated before, coming off of active duty, not knowing what's coming at the end, right? It's a little intimidating, to be honest with you, right? So being here, Raytheon makes sure that you're included, your opinions are valued, your work is valued, your experience is valued. So that's one of the things that, you know, this company does really well at, and integrating us veterans into the community of Raytheon. Next slide, please. So this is just a little bit, right? Raytheon's big on the fitness and wellness. You know, I know in Tucson for the headquarters, you know, we have a gym, we have a track and all that, but they also give us as employees incentives. As you can see there's a wellness reward. It's at the bottom of the screen there, up to $250 reward, right, for participating employees and an eligible spouse. So there's so many things to promote wellness, health screenings. They do so much. So that's added into the package of being an employee for Raytheon. You know, a lot of even the local areas of other Raytheon branches also have gyms and things of that nature. Of course, if you end up working at a headquarters, you'll have a much larger facility, but this is one of the benefits that you can really take a part of. Next slide, please. And that's it for the presentation. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask.
Thank you, Alex. So for those of you that might have joined late and missed the beginning, if you have a question, put it in the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen. And we'll go ahead and get that teed up for Alex. So Alex, we were talking before we got started, and the resume question, you know, that always comes up, and translating the skills and experiences into some language that really meets the mark for the employer. So for you being on the talent acquisition side, you know, what advice would you have specific to a resume for service members as they're trying to articulate that service, and then what kinds of things do you look for in those resumes?
Okay, that's a great question to ask. So when it comes to the resumes, right, the resumes is, I want to say it's gold, right, for every individual that's trying to come on board. When it comes to, you know, veterans, us as veterans, we tend to put our acronyms and our military lingo into our resumes, right? Because we're proud of it, and that's how we describe what we've done. Now, coming into the civilian sector, I want everyone to understand that the civilians that have never been in the military, they're not going to understand what we're putting on there. So we need to, as veterans, right, need to find a way to translate that over. Now with us, as Raytheon, we have a military skills translator tool on our website at jobs.rtx.com. And what it does is, if, for example, you don't know where you want to apply, you don't know what you qualify for, well, this tool allows you to put in your military job code. And what it'll do is it'll populate potential jobs that you can apply to. Now, the biggest thing when it comes to writing the resume for that is you need to make sure you meet the minimum requirements of the position that you're applying to. Now, what I mean by that is actually legitimately on your professional summaries. Make sure that, I'm not saying, don't copy and paste, right? That is horrible advice to give if anyone tells you that, okay? But you need to make sure, go down the bullet points. If it says, that you need to have experience with Microsoft Office Suite, you need to put on there, I have experience with Microsoft Office Suite. If it says that let's say you've, for example, for us, our HR folks are yeomen, right? So if you have HR experience, you need to put on there if it says you need 3 years of HR experience, you need to put in there, okay, I have 5 years of HR experience. You need to literally go down the bullets and list them on your professional summary that you haven't done. That alone will help you get to a recruiter and help you be more competitive when it comes to applying for the position. The other thing too, if you're still currently in the military and you're transitioning out, the security clearance, make sure that that is bold on your resume. If you can put it right underneath your header, put it right underneath the header, bold. Make sure that you can see it, because that right there alone will help you stand out to someone who may have the same qualifications as you, but they don't have the security clearance and you do. You stand out more than they do. So as a veteran, that is something that they really, really do look for.
Great advice. All right, we do have some questions rolling in, thanks to the audience. All right, first one, this individual is currently working on a master's in engineering management. Would looking for an internship be better than looking for a full-time position with Raytheon? Next question would be, how flexible are the working hours for this individual to be able to work around the different class schedule?
Okay, so when it comes to the internships, you can definitely look into the internships that Raytheon has to offer, but I would suggest applying for internships as soon as you can, especially depending on the location. So it'd be a little bit easier if I knew which location, but normally they take applications a year in advance. So if you're looking for an internship and let's say you don't graduate with your master's degree until, I don't know, January or so, I would start applying now to figure it out, to see where you can get picked up. Now, do I recommend an internship to a direct hire position? Well, honestly, it's going to be completely dependent on the individual. I will always say direct hire, right? Because it's a directly hired job. Now, even though you're finishing up your master's degree, if you're close to your graduation date, you can apply for that position that you're going for, that if it requires a master's degree. And they can still possibly pick you up, because what Raytheon will do is they'll wait till you graduate. They will give you that opportunity. Okay, great, we'll bring you on board. We know you're gonna graduate here in the next few months or so, and give you that opportunity to have that job. So I would highly suggest, me personally, like I said, I'd rather do the direct hire route. But if you want to have a firsthand look, of course, then an internship would always be, a good route to go.
Great questions, great advice. All right, next question. Does Raytheon weigh experience over education, or are any education requirements hard requirements?
Okay, great question. So, like I stated before, if one of the minimum requirements is a bachelor's degree, it says required, that is required, right? We won't be able to waive that unless the requisition states that they're willing to do, they're willing to take your experience instead of the degree. But it has to state that. If it does not state that anywhere on the job requisition, they won't take it. So I want everyone to be aware of that. But normally, they do weigh, the experience to the degree.
All right, next question. Does Raytheon participate in the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Hiring Our Heroes Corporate Fellowship Program for service members? And if so, what options are available through the program that Raytheon is offering? And the individual has gone to your website and sees that there's a summer 2021 internship opportunity. Is that something that a interested service member could apply for and do a fellowship in line with that internship program?
Great question. So I am actually currently working on that to do the corporate fellowship program. It has been approved by our legal department. So I am just waiting for the next steps to finish it up. But yes, if and when this, finally gets kicked off, the 2021 internship program, that would be a great one to start up on that time. But, we can definitely keep everyone in the loop, once all of this goes through.
Excellent. So we had a few questions pop in on the chat features. So these are pertaining to the internship. How long is the internship? I know the fellowship program is 12 weeks long, but for the specific internship that's on the website, how long is that?
Yeah, so the internships on the website, it usually depends. If it's an engineering internship, they're usually around 3 to 4 months or so. So they're usually not too long. I think the longest internship opportunity we have, I think lasts about a year. So, but the one that's online, I'd have to really see which one it is to really give you a good estimate. But normally, like, as I stated, it's about 3 to 4 months.
Okay, very good. And also, this individual had joined late, but if you could cover where the job opportunities are. Are you offering remote job positions or work from home type positions? Obviously, right now, a lot of your team is probably work from home, but are you hiring in certain locations? Are they location centric?
Okay, that's a great question. So yes, right now there's a lot of remote opportunities. Of course, due to the unfortunate circumstance of our nation, but there's a lot of opportunities right now to be remote. And it's not location centric either. So it just depends on the hiring manager when you get interviewed. Even the interviews now, right, are all remote. So it just really depends. But to be completely frank, there's a lot of opportunities to be remote if that is something someone's trying to, get into. I have seen folks that have come on board that have started remote, and then the hiring managers, eventually say, hey, do you have the opportunity to come, to the office? And then they kind of work out, okay, well, maybe a couple of days or so out of the week, you can come to the office. But, as of right now, as it stands, it's not location centric. And, remote is a massive opportunity.
Very good. All right, let's see. We got another question that just popped in. Could you speak to job opportunities, if any, that are available to folks with experience in communications, marketing, program management, etc., who don't have technical experience with defense?
Okay. Yes. So.
And this is a military spouse.
No, that's great. So yes. So you don't have to if you have that type of experience, it doesn't, you're military. If you're a military spouse, right? The fact of the matter is, you don't need to have that unless be a veteran. If you have that experience, then I would highly suggest to apply. And being a military spouse, that is a very big push right now that we're doing to bring on more military spouses through our programs. So if you have, you said communications, program management, right now there's a lot of opportunities in those fields to come on board. So I would highly suggest, not to be timid of applying. I would highly suggest to do it, especially there is a program that we do have. It's called the Re-Empower program. If there has been a break of 2 years or more and a military spouse is trying to come back into the professional workforce, that program is kind of like an internship program. It's a 6-month program where they allow you to come on board, basically get your experience back up, get your feet back in the professional career field, and then at the end of it, if everything works out, you can get a job offer. So I'd highly suggest to apply.
Excellent. All right, so I don't have any other questions rolling in from our participants that are on. If you do have a question, go ahead and put that in the Q&A feature. So I'll tee up one of the other ones that we often have asked. So it's culture. For the military side of the house, the military definitely has a very distinct culture. From the Raytheon side, describe what prospective candidates could experience or could expect with the culture at Raytheon, and what's the best way to learn about that if they're looking to get more information about just all of the goings on at Raytheon?
Of course. So like I said, our culture is very inclusive. It's very family oriented, team focused. It is a great opportunity. Like I said, as a veteran myself, like I stated before, it was huge to know that there is an employee resource group for veterans, right? Veterans, military spouses, because now I have that sense of community, right? So Raytheon, that's why Raytheon builds these, employee resource groups to really have everyone connected and feel connected. Now, when you're in Raytheon, right, we have a specific, area to go to on our website as an employee. But if you're not, right, we have our regular website, rtx.com. So I'll be honest with you, there's also so much information on that website now that we're merged officially, and everything's kind of settled down. There's so much on there. You can hear from our CEO, Greg Hayes, and all that. So I'd highly suggest, to go on our website and explore it, tour it. But as I said, once you're in, definitely the employee resource groups is how they make you feel included, how they make you feel valued, and how really they make you feel as a team, right? And every team has a purpose. So the culture is great, to be honest, just be short in the short answer.
Excellent. All right, so we had another question roll in. This individual is a veteran with 25 years in HR and also a military spouse, and they're interested in learning more about the different programs that are offered for both veterans and spouses within Raytheon.
Different programs, can they elaborate a little bit on that?
I would say if there's anything unique, I know we talked about like the fellowship or internship programs. Is there anything that is targeting either military affiliated job seekers or anything else that is unique for your military, either spouses or veterans that are hired by Raytheon?
It's an interesting question. I mean, so with us, right, they're not going to put anything that's just military centered unless it's, one of our internship programs or anything like that. Like I said, but being a veteran, that's already an opportunity in itself. And that's what I'm for, right? To be able to be the link, because they don't just say on the requisitions, oh, this is what this is for, or this is veteran or military spouse focused. If you want a military spouse focused program, the Reempower program, right? We're actually working on another program right now that hopefully will get rolled out next year. That's another veteran focused program. The Skill Bridge program, for example, I've rolled that out. So we have the Skill Bridge program. But if you're talking about like specific job opportunities, I mean, that's not going to be on there, right? That's just going to be known through the resume and through those steps. But besides that, I mean, that's the best answer I can give for that question.
You mentioned your employee resource group. Do you have a military affiliated group, or do you have any kind of mentoring programs or ways where you pair up your military type hires with those that are also veterans or spouses in your organization?
Yes, the RAVETS program, the RAVETS organization, that's what I'm a part of. So like I said, it's a employee research group made by veterans and for those who support veterans and our veterans and military spouses. That is the big one. That's our second biggest one across the nation. So, we are huge when it comes to that. That's a great mentorship program. You get linked up with, there's everyone, right? Hiring managers, directors. It doesn't matter really who you are if you want to be a part of that employee resource group. But it's a great mentorship program. It's a great opportunity to network, right? So if you want to seek another position, you're going to meet people from all over the company in that program. So the RAVETS resource group, that's the big one for veterans and military spouses.
All right, RAVETS. And so there was a question, this individual joined late. This presentation is being recorded, and yes, it will be available online if you go to hiringourheroes.org, and you'll be able to go to our virtual career hub, and there's all of the recorded sessions to include today's session, so you'll be able to get that. Going back to the education side of things, I know you said in your presentation that education, you don't necessarily need to have your degree for all of the jobs, but if somebody does come into the Raytheon space, do you all supplement the GI Bill with any kind of tuition assistance for veterans who are continuing education?
Okay, great. That's a great question. So Raytheon does have actually tuition assistance program. Now, of course, it has to be for a degree that pertains to what you're doing, right? So for example, for myself, let's say I'm an engineer and I was pursuing mechanical engineering and I have my GI Bill. Raytheon, I can still apply for the Raytheon tuition assistance. They will supplement what the GI Bill doesn't cover. You see what I mean? So it will work in tandem, but like I said, it has to be specific to what you're trying to accomplish in the company.
Excellent. All right. So this is going back to the SkillBridge program that we were talking about. Tell us more about the SkillBridge program for Raytheon and its locations or where to find more information on it.
Okay, great. Yes. So the SkillBridge program, I finally have been able to roll it out completely. So as everyone knows, hopefully, right, if you're still in the service and you're transitioning out, those are the folks that can take advantage of the opportunity. It's up to a 6-month internship program, depending on the individual's chain of command, right? Now, where to be a part of it, you can do it anywhere across the company. The thing with it right now, with the program, is that it's new to Raytheon. So with that being said, folks are going into different areas. For example, I've gotten people into the project management area, of course, IT and cyber, logistics, supply chain. I've been able to do those things and move them into those areas. But like I said, it's more of right now trying to spread it out as far as humanly possible to eventually it'll get enterprise wide. But you can go anywhere. We have locations in Texas that have been using it and utilizing it and getting those folks and being in the program. But as I stated before, it is for individuals who are transitioning out of the military and have at least, I always say, 8 months left before they're officially done. So, but the program, like I said, they can pretty much go anywhere.
Excellent. Next question. Do you have any particular Raytheon Collins job search suggestions for former naval aviators or flight officers?
Ooh, Navy aviators. All right. So I've been able to help out a few pilots come on board. They go usually though, depending on the degree. That's how they kind of come in. Depending on what their degree is in, that's how we can help them a little bit more. For example, we had a few individuals that did completely, they wanted to be a pilot, but unfortunately we have pilots. It's such a small community. So these individuals were able to get in, and then they want to wait till one of those spots open up so they can take it. But it's going to depend on the degree when it comes to that. The degree, how many people they've led, if they were, a commanding officer of some sort, things of that nature. It's going to depend on a lot of that more than anything.
Excellent. All right, I'll turn it back to you, Alex. We don't have any more questions, but I did want to just thank everyone for all of their phenomenal questions. And sounds like all of you are very eager to get a job with Raytheon. And I bet Raytheon's ready to hire you. If you could just give us your parting comments or ways that they might be able to reach out to you, Alex, or where they can go for more information. I know you mentioned your website a few times, and they can always go to view this session again, but where do they go to reach you and or other resources that Raytheon has?
Of course. I put my email in the chat. So definitely email me is the easiest way to get a hold of me. As I stated before, I'm the middleman, I'm the conduit, right? I'm the one that will help if you need help with your resume, to sit down, talk, and really give you the lowdown on what we're looking for and how to make it look that way, okay? As long as you meet all those requirements. So my email is the easiest way to reach me. As right now, please be patient with some of my responses because I am the only military liaison for Raytheon. I'm starting to develop a team. So for the event on the 9th, I will be able to have hopefully 2 of my pseudo counterparts from the East to be with me in the career event. So they'll be able to be there as well, hopefully to answer any questions, especially, for those folks who are out East and want to stay out there, they're going to be the best ones to help with that.
Great. All right. So for those of you that are looking for this recording or want to register for one of our upcoming events, and Raytheon will be joining us, go to the website at the bottom of your screen. Instead of career-community, you can just type in events at that section, and it'll take you right to all of our upcoming events if you want to register. So without further ado, I just want to say thanks again to Raytheon. You guys are crushing it out there. Thanks for being leaders in the veteran and military spouse hiring space, and just appreciate all you do and continue to do. And thanks to everyone for joining today. We look forward to having you join us on future sessions, and hope you can join us for our virtual career fair next week. It's a Student Veterans of America hosted event. We will have a lot of employers that are looking for those student veterans to hire them and can engage in and answer any kind of questions about their companies too. So look forward to having you join us for that event, and thanks to everyone for joining today. Be well.